Split Focus in the Paint video series. This is the first episode and we're really excited to bring it to you. The focus is about the BBL, the British Basketball League. It's one of our main passions here at Splitfocussports.com. We're going to be around the games all season and watching them on live basketball TV, Unilad and BBC Sport to bring you all the news, everything you need to know about what's going on in the British Basketball League. So let's kick off with the results from round 2 of the BBL. Friday night kicked off with the London Lions dominating the Manchester Giants, 115 points to 74. More on that a little bit later. The Sharks from Sheffield beat Leeds Force 98-71 in a really creditable game for them. Eagles defeated the Glasgow Rocks, as is kind of customary by now, and the Riders edged out the Bristol Flyers, the Leicester Riders, reigning British Basketball League champions. Let's move on to Sunday. Today's games kicked off in Plymouth. Plymouth Raiders 98-78 win over the Leeds Force, but it was nowhere near as comfortable as that scoreline suggests. The Manchester Giants, they fell 70 points to 102 to the Newcastle Eagles, and finally the Cheshire Phoenix, in the most exciting game of the season so far, they defeated the Surrey Scorchers 82 points to 80 in an absolute barn burner in Cheshire Oaks. So the Manchester Giants, they went down to London on Friday night and they were beaten quite heavily, 115 to 74. I caught up with Coach Danny Byrne after the game and he told me that he doesn't feel like his team are 40 points worse than the London Lions. He felt a 20-point deficit would have been fair and a much more credible performance for his team, especially defensively. Well, tonight, with a scoreline of 32-point deficit from against a team that is probably a little bit tougher, offensively at least, than the London Lions. I've obviously not been able to catch up with Danny Byrne just yet, but it'd be interesting to know what he thinks and how he feels about that. Obviously, the Manchester Giants didn't take the shellacking that the Leeds Force suffered on the opening night of the BBL season, where they lost by about 60 plus points to the Newcastle Eagles. That was a real hammering they suffered. So the key takeaways from Friday night in London was Justin Robinson is just incredible. He is absolutely incredible to watch play basketball, and he is dominating the competition at this level. He is an absolute joy to watch play basketball in this country. It's great to have him back on our shores, and I'll tell you why. He has a tremendous range of passing. He is an elite assist distributor, assist maker. He can distribute the ball like nobody's business. He can score himself. He can finish alley-oops, dunks. He has three-point range as well. His thinking is just at a higher level than a lot of those players around him. Having played top-level European basketball for so long, he's come here to Britain where the quality isn't quite just yet at the highest level of European competition. So he brings that experience, he brings that technique and ability, and is able to show his class, demonstrate just that he is that step above week in, week out. He's really enjoying playing with DeMonte Flanagan, the first year player out of Cleveland State University. The young American, he is one of the most exciting aspects of the entire British Basketball League this season. The young man, he has it all. He can dunk like a grown man. He brings that grown man strength basketball. Some phenomenal link-up basketball with Justin Robinson on Friday night. The alley-oops he was throwing down were just scintillating. The entire Copper Box Arena, every time they saw Justin Robinson looking out for DeMonte Flanagan, rose to their feet in anticipation. It was tremendous watching those finishes. Flanagan also I spoke to him on Friday night. He wants to be a good friend. He wants to be a good teammate to those around him. And that is a big focus of his. He plays how his team need him to play. He's playing to the role. Brandon Peel, when he came on the floor, anytime he touched the ball for London Lions, a large section of the crowd started chanting MVP, MVP. Such is his role with the London Lions. And again, I think he's going to be a really big player in the BBL this season. Coach Carroll, the head coach of London Lions, Marius Carroll, he sees him as one of his really underrated stars, one of his key players in London's quest, as they see it, to become BBL champions, playoff champions, and win everything else in between. Jonathan James has just checked in for the London Lions, making his BBL debut, his London Lions debut, and he's just gone in, diving in for a loose ball. It's a jump ball, going to be between Laniger and the number 16 from the Manchester Giants. Try Inos as Jonathan James with the on-ball screen on Troboho. And James spraying down the field as Paul Guide has it for the Lions. Paul Guide over to James, over to Andre in the corner. Three is good from Andre Lockhart. And James has his first stat in the BBL, an assist to Andre Lockhart. James with some really solid D there as well, putting pressure on the jump shot from number 14 from the Giants, Harold Trobo. As Dre Lockhart brings the ball up for the floor for the London Lions. There are 50 seconds remaining in the game. Lions 115, Giants 70. Paul Guide going in. Paul Guide still going, loses the handle, and that's the Giants' ball. 42-3 remaining in the game. 115 to 70 to score. 45-point lead for the London Lions. That's Lockhart and James, two good on-ball defenders by the looks of things. Shot goes up and it's good from Austin Rettig. He's been in fantastic form today for the Giants. He is one of their real shining stars. Lockhart on the ball, faced up by Trobo. James cutting to the left-hand side. Still Lockhart goes over to Laniger, formerly of the Giants, to Roberts. Roberts tries to go for the up and under. 11 seconds to go on the clock. That's a lovely bounce pass. The Giants. Rettig inside to Tranios, and that's a good finish inside as James has the ball to end the BBL debut. The victorious 15 points to 74 after 40 minutes of BBL action. Dominant performance from the London Lions. And great to see Jonathan James finally get some minutes for the Lions. One of the real highlights for me Friday night was seeing the BBL debut of Jonathan James. He's a young English player who's just come back from playing college ball in America. I've spoken to him in the last few weeks about his journey, and that's something that I'm going to hopefully follow up for the listeners and readers and viewers of Splitfocussports.com. But it was phenomenal to see him just play just those final 2 minutes of the game against the Giants. He did tell me after the game that he'd hoped he would play some more, and I was surprised and a little bit disappointed myself to see that the young man didn't see a little bit more action. But he did get his first stat, an assist to Andre Lockhart in the corner for three. Andre after the game saying that he'd rather have got the ball back to James, but James had put him in such a good position, he was so wide open that he had to take the shot. So really good team chemistry there from the Lions already. They've kicked off this year phenomenally well. But let's talk about the Newcastle Eagles. They are in imperious form. They lie second or joint top of the table along with the London Lions, and they've won their first 3 games, all by a score of over 100 or with over 100 points. That is incredible, and frankly terrifying to everybody else in the league. Again, talking to Coach Byrne Friday night, he was very, very worried about the strength of the Newcastle Eagles. coming away from a really tough night against the London Lions. He was very upset about the performance, and then going into an even tougher game as he saw it against the Newcastle Eagles. But I think his team played with a little bit more defence, with a credit to them, because again, Newcastle, they don't mess about on offence. 100 points plus in their first 3 games, including a BBL record on the first game of the season. Plymouth Raiders now, they are 8th in the table, starting the season with 1 win and 1 defeat. That 1 win came tonight against the Leeds Force. They won the game 98-78, but it isn't as cut and dry as that scoreline suggests. Both sides had a really good game, especially on offence. Leeds brought a lot more defence than I was expecting, especially after that opening day hammering to the Newcastle Eagles. Now, the Plymouth Raiders, they are a side who should, at a minimum, be looking for top 6. They have a very good squad. Dylan Costello, Zach Wells, the 7-foot centre, who spent his season last year playing with the London Lions, and most excitingly and possibly importantly, Neil Watson, who is a reigning BBL champion, having spent last season with the Leicester Riders. They are a very talented group of players. They should be playing a lot better. They have a new coach, lots of new players. It's all changed there in Plymouth this season. So what went on in the game? Well, Leeds played a very good game of basketball, as did Plymouth. But it was the final couple of minutes where Plymouth really started to stretch their legs a little bit. We saw a lot from Neil Watson. He had a tremendous game. Lots of 3 points going down. Just driving into the paint, almost at will. In the third quarter, he scored a beautiful running floater. Just running through, carving through the middle of the Leeds defence. Just popping it up. Nothing anybody could do about it. Zach Wells. I'm a big fan of Zach Wells. He's a lovely individual. Very good basketball player. But he needs to be... I just want somebody, before a game, just to slap him with a fish. Just slap him with a fish. You're in Plymouth, there's water, there's a harbour. Just get a fish, slap him with it. Maybe it'll make him a little bit angry. I would be so fascinated to see how an angry Zach Wells plays. One problem for the Plymouth Raiders tonight was they gave away so many stupid fouls. They made the game quite easy at times for Leeds, especially in the first half, first 3 quarters, by just dumb foul after dumb foul. Lots of reach-in fouls, lots of niggly stuff that they really don't need to be doing. They're a very good team. They should be aiming for the top 6 at a minimum this season. I expect to see them have a good cup or trophy run as well. So fingers crossed they can achieve that. As for Leeds, I hope they can build on last season. They're going to be one of the sides really battling hard for that 8th seed. Now, the big game tonight, Cheshire Phoenix versus the Surrey Scorchers. Surrey, they're a good team. They're one of the best teams in the division. Again, they should be aiming top 6. Cheshire, they missed out on the playoffs last season at the hands of the Surrey Scorchers. So, a little bit of a rivalry between these two sides going into today. Now, Cheshire, can I just first mention the uniforms? They are bizarre. I understand that the city of Chester, the colours are blue, yellow and white. The football team wear blue and white stripes, but come on, this is a little bit ridiculous. If you didn't see the game, their uniforms are the dark blue, that is customary, or the royal blue I think it is, that is customary to Chester, with a white shoulder panel and a white butt panel, with otherwise blue shorts, and the numbers and lettering is just the outline of the number or the letters. It's really weird, it's very distracting, and the numbers are quite hard to read. So please, just commit to the stripes. It would look good. Anyway, that's a minor tangent. The game, the most important thing. 15 seconds to go. The Surrey Scorchers, who had trailed by over 20 points at one point, they had the lead. 15 seconds to go. 5-point lead. It was in the bag. And then all of a sudden, it all changed. Alex Awumi, who had a very, very good night playing for his new team, he had a customary poor pass, turned over possession, backcourt violation. That's bad, but it's not a complete disaster. There's still time to turn the ball over, or even if Cheshire score, you get the ball. And a really, really bad mistake from Malcolm Hicks. He just had a brain fade, forgetting about the new unsportsmanlike rules. So, inbound to Sandoval with the Phoenix, intentional foul from Hicks. That's an unsportsmanlike penalty. So that's 2 free throws and possession. Sandoval, the most clutch play of the day, drains both of the free throws. Time on the clock. It's about 5 seconds to go. Cheshire Phoenix still trailing. They're down by 1. 79-80. All the Surrey Scorchers need to do is get the stop. Inbound to Riley. 3. And it's good. 82-80. Riley, just moments earlier, had missed 3 open threes on the bounce. And for him to take the final shot of the game, drain it for the win, was incredible. But the drama wasn't quite over. The Scorchers went down the other end, had a 3 shot of their own that bounced off the front iron, bounced high, dropped back down, and was slapped off the front iron by May Thompson. It was an incredible finish to an incredible game of BBL basketball. It was a fabulous advertisement for our sport. And if you didn't watch it and you haven't seen it, I urge you, please go and find the tape. Go and watch that game. Even if you only watch the final minute. It was remarkable. And again, new rules. They're catching people out. The new unsportsmanlike penalty, that's big. Players, coaches, officials, they need to be on top of it. And it's a great thing that BBL have and that FIBA have introduced, because the end of the game was exciting. Now, if we had this game in America, in the National Basketball Association, we wouldn't have had that drama. It would have been foul, free throws, turnover possession, foul, free throws, blah, blah, blah. And that's what makes the BBL special and exciting, is partly the rules, partly the players, and the passion that surrounds everybody involved with the sport. It seemed like it was a really fun day out at Cheshire Phoenix in Cheshire Oaks there. Their fans are crazy for the Knicks. They absolutely love their team. Great noise, great colour, everything was fantastic. Cheshire Phoenix, they are hoping to get into the playoffs this year. And that's a really strong start against the Surrey Scorchers team, who should be doing a lot better. They have fantastic players. They have a good coaching staff. They are better than the performance that they put in today. To be trailing 32-9 at the end of the first quarter, that's what ultimately lost them the game. But they had it. It was in their hands, and two mental mistakes, 2 small mistakes, cost them the game. What can you do? Let's have a look at the BBL standings just before we wrap up. So the Lions and Eagles, they're top of the pile, 3 wins, 0 defeats, followed by the Leicester Riders and the Sheffield Sharks, both on 2 wins, the Sharks with 1 defeat. Then it's the Flyers, Scorchers, and Phoenix, Raiders, Wolves, and the Glasgow Rocks, who started the season 0-2 with their new coach, head coach of Great British Basketball and Scottish Commonwealth Team Basketball, Tony Garbaletto. The Glasgow Rocks really struggled at the Betway All-Star Championship, and they've continued to struggle into the new season. Not too sure what's going on there. I'll be really interested to hear what you have to say, why you think the Rocks are starting so slowly this season. I'll also be really excited to try and speak to some of the players or personnel with the Glasgow Rocks to see what they think is the problem. But it's early days yet. They've only played 2 games and they've had 2 close losses to 2 tough teams. They lost tonight, Friday night, to the Newcastle Eagles, who are, like we say, in imperious form, and they do always lose to the Eagles. So what more can we say? So that wraps up an exciting round of Great British Basketball BBL action for us. I'll be back next week with another roundup of In the Paint. In the meantime, we'll be hopefully getting to games this weekend, keeping you informed. So make sure you follow our Facebook page, Splitfocussport, on Twitter at Splitfocussports, and make sure you check out our website, splitfocussports.com. That's going to be it for now. Thank you so much for watching.
cry a little.